is 6 a.m. I am in a bathrobe, and I'm going to scream about music I don't like. I can't wait for this to go well. There is a very serious part of me that's actually quite confused as to why I'm doing this again. I realized during the finalization of the last one that these require an immense amount of effort on my end. From the listening, to the shooting, to the writing, to the fucking editing, it is just a monstrous process. And I finally came to the conclusion that doing one of these damn things once a month, which was my original intention, is, for lack of a better term, fucking silly. It's not that I didn't love it the first time. I really did love doing it. I just don't think that I have the motivation to sit there and listen to the shitty music for hours of my week, and only that, and then offer my half-baked thoughts on it. I really don't know how Fantano does it. But when duty calls, I answer. Damn it, I'm no coward. So I am back, yet again, putting my ears on life support for you with another edition of what I call So You Don't Have To. A series where I take on a band's entire discography, listen to it front to back, and then I offer a genuine breakdown and critique of the material. Not entirely original, I'm aware of that, but hey, at the end of the day, nothing's original anymore. Every story's already been told, just not the way I would tell it, so fucking buckle up, pal. And the way that I'm going to tell it comes with a strict set of guidelines, a strict set of rules, if you will, that I must adhere by. And the rules are relatively simple. The band I choose to cover needs to have a minimum of at least 5 full-length records. I have to listen to that band, and only that band, for the duration of how long it takes to write and complete this. I have to listen to each album at least once for joy, and at least once for critique. I need to cover and discuss any interesting stories or controversies involving the band. And finally, and maybe the most important, the band has to be absolute dog shit, at least in terms of the public eye. And now that we've put all that to the side, put a nice little pin in it, I can say with my entire chest that I listened to every Papa Roach album. So you don't have to. I am not right-handed. So to be completely honest, I genuinely don't really have a history with this band. I mean, except when I was a kid, like my older brother used to listen to bands like this all the time. So of course I heard some of the songs sort of like echoing from his chamber, but I didn't really have like much of an opinion on them either way. That's most likely because I was a fucking child. But I mean, I remember hating their name, thinking the name is absolutely stupid. I mean, I remember making fun of the name a lot and get with my friends and like kind of getting a really good chuckle out of it. Now, through all my extensive research, I know it's sort of just a combination of both of their singers' grandfathers' nicknames that they have. And I think that's kind of sweet. I think that's really nice. It's like a nice little way to honor them, those gentlemen, but still a weird name for a band. And I just, but as a kid, I didn't really give enough of a shit to like learn that. I just wanted to make fun of it. Really, the band just wasn't my thing. Even as I got older and sort of achieved sentience on my own. To be completely honest with you, going into this, I've only heard like one full album and then like a smattering of other songs. That's it. It's just that like nobody in my immediate circle was into them. And other than taking the time to like openly and actively shit on them, nobody was talking about them. And also every time I looked at a picture of the band, I just kind of giggled. You're not gonna sit there and tell me that these guys are making heavy music when they look like they work at Zoomies. Like, this guy probably sold, like, my girlfriend at the time, like, a really shitty blouse from PacSun. So I'm not gonna sit there and listen to it. To that, I would say, fuck you. It really just, all of that just turned me off from experiencing the music, which is, at the end of the day, what it's really about. I was just a stupid kid, and that's on me to rectify. And I'm going to. So, let's talk about the band. I'm going to shout out my research assistant, Dr. Wiki. Papa Roach is an American rock band that started in Vacaville, I hope I'm saying that right, California in 1993. The lineup consists of guitar player Jerry Horton, drummer Tony Palermo, bass player Tobin Esperance, and rapper, singer Jacoby Shaddix, cool name. They have released 11 full-length records and are currently signed to New Noise Records, a label that the band themselves own and operate. In addition to being season headliners in their own right, they have also toured with musical giants such as Incubus, Static X, and Motley Crue. They are also, at the time of this recording, currently sitting at a whopping 13.9 million monthly listeners on Spotify. It's actually an incredibly solid resume. Album 1. Old Friends from Young Years, 1997. I was 5 when this came out. I just want to kind of put that out into the ether there. I was 5 years old. I had a full head of hair and hope in my eyes. Anyway, this is technically, on paper, their debut album. Everyone likes to think that the record following this one is their debut, but in my extensive research, I have found out that that is not true. This is the debut album. And it is so elusive of a record, I literally could not find it anywhere. No streaming service, as far as I'm aware, has it. I only have Apple Music right now, but still, nowhere I checked. I could not find it. Except I found it on YouTube in full. So shouts out to whoever uploaded the original Papa Roach album. I mean, that kind of makes sense, honestly. Like, this is like a very independent release, which is cool. It was released on the independent label that the band started called Onion Hardcore, a label that was named after the primary good that is farmed in their hometown. I personally wouldn't admit that I was from a town that farmed onions, but that's, just me. And after giving this record a spin, I can give my raw onion and unpeeled opinion. That's not that bad. It's not nu metal, really. I mean, they often get called like nu metal pioneers, and that might be true later down the line, but this is so alternative metal. It is jarring. I mean, as an independent release, the production is probably what you'd expect. It's incredibly muddy. It's super choppy. I kind of like that, though, if I'm being honest. It makes the performances stand out, especially the rhythm section, because their bass player is doing some devious work all over these tracks, and there's like surprisingly intricate drumming happening. So the rhythm section feels like incredibly, like, I don't know what this is, lockstep with each other. It makes the rhythm section feel full. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's like a perfect album. It's absolutely not. I mean, well, I think that Jacoby gave it his absolute all with his vocal performances here. At the end of the day, it really does just boil down to him doing like a really, really bad Jonathan Davis impression. I mean, I don't hate that. I like Jonathan Davis and what he does. I just don't think that essentially doing corn pantomime for your vocal performances is like very original. And oh my fucking god, there's a song on here called P-Wagon. Let that sit in your brain for a minute. Let that right here, a song called P-Wagon. It might be the worst thing that I have heard in like the past 6 months. Jesus Entertainment Christ, this song is dog shit. I understand that they were young and having fun, and that's great, and that's what it's about. But the fact that there was nobody in the room to go,
hey, this sucks,
really bums me out. I'm glad that this exists. I really am. But I really wish I just started with the next one. Album 2, Infest, 2000. I am so happy I gave this record a chance. I wish I was lying to you. I am stoked I gave this a try. This is what I wish their actual debut was. I'm sad that it wasn't. I wish this was the actual start of it all. Granted, this is the major label debut, so not everybody had the luxury and the privilege to listen to P-Wagon. But that's beside the point. This album kicks fucking ass. There are riffs on this thing. That people rip off to this day. There are bands doing the riff to Blood Brothers right now. They are in their garage, they are in the studio, and they go,
hey, check this shit out, man.
And they're playing the Blood Brothers riff. That song rules. That riff kicks ass. Kind of like how everybody stole the Unholy Confessions riff. Everybody steals the Blood Brothers riff. Go listen to that song and tell me I'm wrong. Might be in a different key. Structure might be a little different. that is the Blood Brothers riff. I love that the songs are so tightly written and performed. With the overall structures kind of shifting between that nu metal sound and punk almost seamlessly. Like, it's effortless. You'd think it'd be really confusing, but it absolutely works. It is rap metal, nu metal at its industry peak. With all of the rapping and the record scratching performed, but the record scratches on this album were performed by DJ AM. I did not know that until I started to sit down and write this. That's awesome. I also like that a lot of the songwriting does finally stray away from that formulaic Korn sound, the Kornulaic sound, if you will. There's even a 9-minute song on here that I did not like, that had it had a weird white boy reggae part in the middle of it. Before you get ahead of yourself, no, Jacoby Shaddix did not do a fake patois. If I have to give that song anything, he did not do a fake patois. Thank fuck for that. And, I do want to go on record as stating that I, to this day, cannot stand the lead single. I think Last Resort is a terrible song. The song's meaning and the intention of the song lyrically, I completely understand, but I hate that song. I don't think that should have been the lead single. I think the lead single should have been Dead Cell. That sort of is the calling card for the band. At least that's how it appears to me. Dead Cell is a vastly superior song. It should have been the lead single. I would much rather hear this than Last Resort ever again. I just think that song overall is just super cringe, even by the standards of a pre-9/11 world that it exists in, where cringe levels went off the charts in post 9/11. This just is cringy on a level I can't fathom. Another thing I'd like to highlight here, surprisingly enough, is the lyrics on this thing. A lot of the songs have this really cool political slant to them, which I love and didn't expect. For example, in the title track of the record, first they shackle your feet, then they stand you in a line, then they beat you like meat, then they grab you by your mind. I think that lyric is absolutely fascinating, and it's poignant, again, in a pre-9/11 world. I think that lyric is so cool. I really didn't expect that type of any sort of serious lyricism, especially from this band on that song, because the opening line to the title track, the first song on the record, is, and I'm not kidding, Kobe Dick, or Mr. Dick if you're nasty. So, I guess it's about balance. Album 3, Lovehatetragedy, 2002. Right off the bat, I noticed an immediate leap forward across the board. The vocal performances are stellar, the lyrics have vastly improved, and the overall instrumentation is super polished. There might not be a better guitar tone on any record that had come out in that year or in the past, or in the few years after it. I'm not even joking in the slightest. It is a serious step in the right direction overall, especially with the band starting to distance themselves from nu metal. The nu metal is largely a gimmick, as we all know, and I love nu metal. I'm a nu metal truther. It's in my DNA, but even I know, I'm not that much of an idiot. Even I'm aware that, it probably, from a societal standpoint, it probably only had a shelf life of 5 or 6 years. So it's smart that the band is starting to sort of distance themselves from it. The flip side to that coin is that the transition from nu metal into other, more palatable forms of music is a tad bit spotty. A lot of these songs, while they are obviously clearly better written, don't really know what they want to be. For example, the song Singular Indestructible Droid is a great song. That song rules. It manages to kind of ride that line between genres really well. But the song M80 is just a fucking mess. The growth is there. It's just super choppy. I'm doing this a lot with my hands. Just forgive me. I'm caffeinated. And I'm gay. That leads to a good chunk of the record just being super forgettable. And it makes the total runtime for the album, which is about 40 minutes and change, it just makes it feel so long.
And the title track fucking blows.
This was the band's sort of big breakthrough moment, I feel. They had been going on a lot of bigger and better tours, definitely reaching a broader audience. I think the biggest one was when they headlined in 2002. They co-headlined, with Eminem during the Anger Management Tour. which at the time was an insane thing for a rock band to do. And I think that 2002 was the last year that a rock band was on the anger management tour, so that's even a bigger deal. This was also their final record under DreamWorks label, and after that they signed to Geffen. Album 4, Getting Away with Murder. I realized that there would come a time where I would put on a Papa Roach album and it would contain no rapping. I know it shouldn't have taken me by surprise, but it did. That's not me shitting on it, actually, at all. I think that's a great thing. I just didn't think that it would be on this specific album that would happen. Does that make any sense? The band at this point had like fully embraced that alt-rock, alt-metal sound. They have stepped away from nu metal. Thank God. Thank God. And then because of that, it makes sense that they wouldn't have any rap vocal attached to it. Which is fine by me, because Jacoby Shaddix is singing his ass off on this record. In fact, the entire band is firing on all cylinders. They are redlining the engine. They are all kicking ass on this thing. Every instrument has its own, it stands out. It has its own place, especially the drumming. He's hitting the fuck out of that kit on this record. He's great. This is famously the album that has the song Scars on it. And I used to think that song fucking sucked. But now I really, really like it. I think that song is really good. I actually love that song. Sue me. Hear this coffee sip. There's a lot of stellar work on here once you get past like the first few songs, which are super bland and kind of do nothing. And like the first quarter of the album is kind of like eh. It's not bad, but it's like eh. Because luckily enough, we run into the track Take Me, which is just like that's a killer tune. That's a big tune. That's a killer tune, man. It's a gnarly riff coupled with an incredible vocal. It leads to a really great song. And then that transitions directly into the title track, which like that is the 1-2 punch on this album that just to me kind of took it to the next level, because Take Me right into the title track, which is also a banger of a tune. It just like, yeah, that hit really well. Because I have had issues with title tracks from these guys up until this specific point. So it's just nice to see that they stuck the landing. My notes right here, I had it underlined. It says, this thing has some egregious shit on it. And it does. Do or Die. Ugh, God, that fucking song. Do or Die is utter tripe, and it deserves to be shunned by society. Leper Colony for songs. It's so lame. It's this run-of-the-mill feel-good song, which is like fine, but it's just so paint by numbers. It is just so bad. If this song were released now, people would accuse it of being written by ChatGPT. And I hate to say it, but a bunch of the songs on this record kind of suffer from that paint by numbers composition. But I don't think that's a them problem. That's indicative of the rock scene at the time. Like that early thousands period of time where like every song kind of sounded like that. Also, as a side note, this is over here. This is what we're talking about. This is over here. Man, I just feel like 70% of this record is designed for placement in movies and TV shows and video games. For example, the songs like Stop Looking and Blanket of Fear are like destined to be in an EA Sports game. They're destined to be in 2K20 whatever, and that, to me, that is probably as close to me saying a slur as I can actually get. Album 5, The Paramore Sessions, 2006. Now we're here. We made it. We finally made it. This particular record, I'll put this one right here. This is the one that I heard all the way through. Multiple times, actually, because this record is, by and large, one of my favorite albums of all time. It is in my top 10. It might be in my top 5. This record fucking rules. Palpatine hands. I wish I was exaggerating. I'm not. I think this album's fucking incredible. Every time I hit play, I know I'm about to be blessed. I know my ears are in for a treat. I'm not blind to the weird shit on this album. Like, yeah, Forever, cringy song. Forever is a super cringe track. Time is Running Out. Bad song. Stupid song. Bad song. Don't really care for it. But if I look at those two songs in context of where they sit in the track list, I'm fine with it. I'm not going to listen to them on their own, but if I'm doing an album run, those songs are just fine. Outside of that, I don't really have anything to bitch about, to be honest. There are a few things to take note of here as I scroll through my notes. Firstly, this is the final record to feature longtime drummer Dave Buckner, who took a step back from the band to enter rehab for undisclosed substances. And he just never came back. You know, he never came back. Famously, I have it right here, the record was written and recorded in the infamous Paramore Mansion, which was known to, for anyone who's aware, be incredibly haunted. It's a haunted mansion. And a bunch of people have made music in there, and they all have negative experiences about the whole thing. Of course they do. It is, for people who know, it is widely known as the place where My Chemical Romance wrote, they didn't record it there, but they wrote The Black Parade in the Paramore Mansion. And famously, bass player Mikey Way had to leave the mansion to go seek mental health treatment because of what he experienced in the mansion. And it's kind of sad. I don't even know if I should bring this up. I might clip this out. But this record is dedicated to Jacoby's grandfather, one of the namesakes of the band, who passed away in 2006 from a self-inflicted wound, we'll say. This is the record to me where they like fully completed that full transition into what they were trying to do for the last two records. This was like their final evolution. And it paid off in a big way. Jerry Horton's guitar work is incredible here. And they let Tobin play the fuck out of his bass. His bass lines are crazy on this thing. His tone on this record specifically is a tone I know bass players have been chasing for years. And if I can just take a second to highlight how good the vocals are, man. It is safe to say that Mr. Dick, that Kobe Dick, delivered one of the best vocal performances in his entire career on this record. Album 6, Metamorphosis, 2009. If you told me, hey, this entire album is the soundtrack to a really shitty CW show, I wouldn't even be surprised. My head would have exploded like a Resident Evil zombie, but I couldn't tell you that I'd be shocked. As they say, the bag demands to be chased. Lifeline by itself would be a song used in like every mid-season or season finale of just a really bad CW show that you look at and go,
How does this have 10 seasons?
The entire record feels like a sanitized version of a Motley Crue record. It wants to be this down and dirty rock record, but it just seems to, it misses the mark. It's like it's too polished at its core for it to be a Motley Crue record, which is crazy because this album was produced by the singer of 6 a.m., this guy, who is in a band with this guy, who is in this band. And because of that type of flat production, the songs here definitely suffer for it. Last record was full of just this palpable, ongoing running energy, and here it's like they just took that rag and just wrung it out of just all the juice, all of the energy, the fun, the emotion of it all. It's gone. And the entire back end of the record is just a fucking turd. It physically pained me to have to listen to some of those songs twice. This is the first album to feature current drummer Tony Palermo. He is probably the sole highlight of the record. He just absolutely nails it. He shows his ass on every track. His drumming is great. And Jacoby sings his ass off again. I don't think I will ever have a real issue with him specifically. His lyrics might be a little janky every now and then, but I'm not going to have a problem with the performance of said lyrics.
Does that make sense?
There's also a Mick Mars solo on here, another Motley Crue connection, on Into the Light. And that kicks ass. That's probably like the best song on the record. It is funny how much they wish to be like Motley Crue, but without understanding anything that made that band great. Album 7, The Connection, 2012. Now this is what I think the last record should have sounded like. Like, this record kicks ass, despite a few little things here and there. The guitar work is nuts on here. They actually let Jerry Horton start playing stupid riffs again. Just what a shock to the guts. And even some of the slower songs on here are vastly improved. And I'm such a, like, eye roll guy at super slow songs, but, like, ballady stuff. But those songs were great, too. The entire record actually has this sort of, like, easy-to-follow pacing. Everything is so easy to follow, nothing feels out of place. It's a really smooth listen. And songs like Still Swinging are definitely meant to be played loud and in an arena, hopefully an arena near me. I had a sneaking suspicion that this was going to be the final pure rock and roll record that I'd be getting from these guys in a while, and we'll see if I'm correct. Foreshadowing is a literary. There are a few things I didn't like about this record. There always are. One is I think that the mixing is super homogenized. None of the instruments really stand out. Even if the performances are cool, nothing stands out. Especially the bass. Like, the bass really suffers on this album, which sucks because you have one of the best rock and roll bass players at your disposal, and you're just not utilizing him. It all felt super sanitized. Nothing really had its own sense of identity. And again, once again, I could not stand anything in the back end of the record. But I'm starting to sense a really shitty pattern. That might just be nitpicking. I might be nitpicking this album specifically, and I can't for the life of me figure out why, because overall it's a quite enjoyable experience. So I don't know why I'm being a baby about it. Album 8, F.E.A.R, 2015. I don't think I liked this record. I sat there, I pressed play, and I locked in. But I could not find myself wanting to go back to listen to this record a second time. This might be the band's biggest trend-chasing moment. There is almost nothing original on here. There's nothing here that screams, oh, hey, this is a Papa Roach album. I know that might not make any sense, but every other record on here, you could pinpoint something and go,
That's Papa Roach. That stands out. That's unique.
Here, nothing. I have heard 17 bands make this exact record before. And that fucking bums me out. That pisses me off. I will say, at least this thing goes by fast. And normally I'm pretty miffed when an album goes by too quickly. So for me, of all people, being excited that an album feels fast, and I can't wait for it to end. Yikes. There's only one riff on this thing, man. There's only one cool riffy song on this thing, and it's one of the bonus tracks. What the fuck? I am going to give it one positive note. I feel like I have to. The choruses here are actually super catchy. That is the one thing that I will give it overall. Outside of that, it is just typical Octane chorus slop. This album, F.E.A.R, is essentially just a really annoying Seether record. It is a Seether album at its core, right down to the vocal melody. The song Broken As Me might be the worst offender. Not only does it feel like a Seether song, but the lyrics echo that too. You always play the victim, and you just can't decide if the vicious way we loved each other fucked up our lives. That is something you would hear Sean Morgan croon 18 years ago. Album 9, Crooked Teeth, 2017. I had to take a little breaky. I had to feed myself, had to feed my pets. And now the light. It got way brighter out, so I don't need my light anymore. Okay. Where were we? Nope. I refuse. I fucking won't do it. Fuck this record. Fuck it. I'm angry. I'm legitimately angry. Never thought I'd get angry at music before. I want to
Punch a desk.
Whoever decided to authorize this record being created needs to be put underneath a prison. Sent immediately to the gulag. You are being sent to the gulag. You are being sent to the super jail. They're going to put you in the moon prison that they put that big fucker in Men in Black 3 in. I do not care. You just need to shed your humanly duties. I despise this project top to bottom. There is nothing redeeming about this shit at all. This is the record that they used to torture prisoners in Camp Omega in Metal Gear Solid 5. Every note being presented to me fills me with anxiety. Every drum fill makes my skin want to separate itself from my skeleton. The idea that I had to listen to this pile of filth more than once in my lifetime gave me heartburn. I need you to ask yourselves. I need you to sit there and go, selves,
What do you get when Octane Core, Butt Slop, and AWOL Nation run into each other at high speeds?
because that's this. It is a musical mutation that I have put between my ears. What have I done to deserve this? The band found a way to sound even more sauceless and boring than they ever have prior to this. I didn't even know that was fucking possible, man. The only semi-redeemable bit on this entire thing is the title track, Barely. It thankfully sounds like nothing else on the record. Thank God. Just like, think about everything that is wrong with modern rock music and modern heavy music. Just like, think about it. Like, no particular era in time. Just think all of the bad things about modern rock music from, say, like, 2010. Okay, so do you have an idea? Like, just in your head, like in your mind's eye, you came up with something. Great! Now multiply that by 10, and that is what this is. And so I'm not saying this from a place of hyperbole. I'm not saying this from a place of exaggeration. This is in a period of time where every one of these records from bands that are putting out music like this all have a ridiculous feature from Machine Gun Kelly. Like, that is the level of poo-poo that I've experienced. Just do yourself a favor and pretend that this doesn't exist. That's what the fuck I'm gonna do. Album 10. Who Do You Trust? 2019. I dreaded pushing play on this album. I made the near fatal mistake of starting this the same day that I started the last two records. So, like, needless to say, my expectations were very low. The bar was in hell. But motherfucker, we did it. This record kind of rules. It genuinely rocks. I'm not gonna lie, I almost cried, not like a real way, but I almost cried when that first song started, because it wasn't great, it wasn't that good. It just kind of sounded like more of the same shit that I had been getting for two records in a row. But that almost felt like a trick. It felt like I got duped. Because the instant the second song, the song Renegade Music, hit, it was a completely different animal. I was at work when I started this record, and when that song came on, I had to like get up and walk around for a little bit. It just put me in such a good mood, man. That was such a treat for me. This might be the first time the band has sounded like they've actively been having fun making a record in years. Well, like, the energy is palpable. Like, you can really feel the energy coming through the music. They thankfully dropped like all the generic ass riffs and generic ass structure to create something that's like pretty unique and pretty genuine. It's some really interesting songwriting choices that actually all kind of land. Jacoby started rapping again, which kind of threw me off a little bit. You know, he's not KRS-One, you know, like, he's not Black Thought, but like, you know, he's a very competent rapper for his genre. I didn't know I missed it until I heard it again. I thought I was fine with never hearing it again, but it was actually pretty nice. There's one track on the record that completely threw me off, and it is the song called I Suffer Well. I Suffer Well is
Fucking awesome.
like, it is a pure, energized punk rock song that like could have been dropped in like 2002. And if I had like a fully formed brain at the time, I probably would have made that song my entire personality. It is a minute and a half long. It's a minute and a half of Papa Roach mugging you through music. It fucking kicks ass. And it helps that like throughout the entire record, once again, everyone gets their standout moment. Everyone shines. Everyone feels like they have a place. I've missed that. I'm so glad it's back. The flip side to that whole thing I just went on is that the song Elevate is a fucking dud. I hate that song. Nothing's perfect. That song fucking sucks. Album 11, Ego Trip, 2022. The overall quality on this record actually upset me. Like, this record is such a smooth listen that it physically pissed me off when I finished it. You're telling me that this band was capable of writing music like this for the past decade?
Man, get the fuck out of here. Get out of my face. Do not piss me off.
You could have been giving me shit like Kill the Noise and Swerve this entire time, but chose not to. You bastard. The first one I mentioned is just this awesome, trippy, legitimate, like, nu metal throwback song. that I think is legitimately great. I think it's an awesome song, but Swerve. That song isn't just a top 10 Papa Roach track. It's a top 10 song in general. Getting both Mr. Let Live, Mr. Fever 333, Mr. Jason Butler, and Swaco on the same song together shouldn't work. It's on paper that idea shouldn't be possible to sound cool, but it sounded fucking sick. It fucking rules. It's interesting because the record feels modern, but not in the way that pisses me off. I don't know, maybe that is partially due to maybe like a lack of label interference. This is their first album that's on New Noise Records, which is their own imprint. It's their own record label, so maybe they were allowed to experiment more, have a little bit more freedom. Maybe there wasn't some record stooge in the room going like, please make that riff in drop A. Like, I don't know. And then Kobe Dick, Mr. Dick, is rapping like the rent is due on a lot of these songs. Like, he even brings out like a harsh vocal on a song or two, which is something I don't think he's done before. I think it would largely depend on your personal definition of what a harsh vocal is. But regardless of that, he does go nuts. And like and the band is just back to playing the shit out of their respective instruments. It feels so good to listen to. I will, some of the breakdowny parts I will say are a little out of place. They do a little couple of breakdown moments, and it doesn't feel right to me. When it happens, it almost feels like disingenuous. I hate to say it, I really do, because I enjoyed the record overall. But once again, the back end of the record feels flat to me. It's almost like the band is allergic to properly rounding out an album. They just can't stick the landing, especially on songs like No Apologies and Always Wandering. Those are so stinky B tier songs to me. I do not like them at all. Just lackluster moments on an otherwise awesome experience. Well, kids, we made it to the very end. We've listened to every Papa Roach album, and I can say right now with absolute certainty that this band is a, drumroll please, a 7 out of 10. I'm actually really happy that I went through with this. Preparing myself mentally, emotionally, and physically to have another Five Finger Death Punch situation where I had to listen to the music, but I also had to suffer through the music. Because I really do, when I'm doing my research and my notes for these and all my everything, this is all I listen to. That's like weeks of me only listening to the subject matter band. I spent like 3 weeks listening to nothing but Five Finger Death Punch. Do you know what the fuck that did to my brain? And I did it again with Papa Roach. Once I started going through the discography, I had a great experience overall. I really did. Besides like one or two records that I just didn't like. I'm fucking looking at you, crooked teeth. I will knock those crooked teeth out of your fuck. But even those records still made me feel something. I never expected myself to enjoy this music as much as I did. I'm shocked by it, honestly. We'll see if that trend continues. They're allegedly releasing an album this year, so we'll see. I'm not saying that I would buy any merch at the show, but I would certainly attend one, you know? I think the process of making one of these is one that I know I will never be consistent on. I struggled with that for like a month or two after the Five Finger Death Punch one, but I think I'm okay with it. I think I'm fine with it. If I could get like 2 of these done a year, that would be cool. You know, 2 is good. Gives me enough time to breathe in between. But who knows? This year is already a whirlwind of a year. I have got a lot going on, and it is only February at the time of this recording. So we'll see how motivated I feel later on. I'll probably peruse the list of bad bands in a few months, probably like June. If anything, I would like to get another one of these done and out the door by like October. I'm getting married. And now I can finally say that I have listened to every Papa Roach album. So you don't have to. And I will see you in the next one.